Hello all, welcome to Phoenix 2021. First and foremost, I would like to thank all the organizers for picking me up for this session. So let's begin the session. Today, I'm going to take you into a journey where we will unveil the path of a teacher who transforms into guru. So this is a metamorphosis journey. So let us begin this. Myself, I am Dr. M.S. Balakrishna, Professor and Head, Department of Oral and Maxillofacial Surgery, Malabar Dental College. I am also CEO and Head of DentaGeniusClasses.com. Well, to begin with, great teachers don't do different things. They do things differently. Very true indeed. To be a great teacher, to be an ultimate guru, you don't have to do drastic things. Simple things in a simple manner, if you do it, that is outstanding. Right. As it is famously said, a mediocre teacher only tells. A good teacher explains. A superior teacher demonstrates. And a great teacher, he inspires. So that is the difference between a mediocre teacher to a good teacher to a great teacher. Now, who is a teacher first of all? So most dictionaries define teacher as a person who teaches. So in simple language, a teacher is a symbol of learning, a leader of leaders, and a miracle to education. So this teacher can take role of anyone. He can be a friend, he can be a leader, coach, motivator, counselor, and more importantly, he has to be a role model for the current generation to look upon. So that is the duty of a teacher, to be a role model, the most important criteria. Now, if we don't have teachers, where would these doctors, engineers, lawyers, scientists, firefighters, athletes, anyone you take it, from where they'll come from? You need a mentor, you need a guide who will guide them to do their job with perfection. Even Sachin Tendulkar had a coach, one of the masters of the cricket. He's called God of cricket. He also has a coach. So to be a teacher, you have to have the ultimate goal in your mindset that you're going to transform the lives. Teacher empowers a student. They are the main source of inspiration for the next generation. And please remember that if you are a teacher, you are here to change the paradigm. Now you may be an undergraduate student, or you may be a postgraduate student, or some of you may be teachers. But this is a learning phase in all our life. With experience, we grow much more. Dear delegates, teaching is both a skill and an art. That is why many people are not able to do it. Many people have skill, but they don't have art of teaching. They have a lot of theoretical knowledge, but they don't know how to impart to them. So that is why the role of a teacher becomes a little difficult. Some people can do it for a while, but some can do it forever. A good teacher should not be only smart and approachable, but also should be a dramatic success, because the students will be looking at them. If your teacher is successful in life, then only the next generation will follow them. Like actors, teachers also develop specific skills to enhance their communications of ideas. So this is very important. As a teacher, one needs to perform every day. Whenever you're taking class, you have a live audience over there. So this means you have to be a salesperson, a performance artist, or an enthusiastic, passionate person in the classroom. If you're a teacher, you should be the most enthusiastic, passionate person. Then only your crowd will take it. And there is a lot of pressure teaching these days. With the advent of online teaching, parents are also watching, and they want for you to magically make their kids improve. And there is a lot of pressure to perform. So this is a challenging role which teacher has to do it. He has to perform and deliver also. So are the teachers really born? can teaching be taught? This is $1 million question. Yes, if at all we can learn how to be a perfect teacher, we can transform from teacher to guru, then from where we should start? What are the best techniques to be implemented so that we will be the ultimate guru? Or how fast we can get results from the students? So these are a few challenging questions which all of us come in some part of our life, in our teaching life. So first and foremost, if you're going to teach, coach someone, first and foremost is to change the mindset, our mindset. A good teacher is someone who teaches not only with his mind, but also with his heart. You have to connect heart to heart. Please remember, it is not hard work, but it is heart work. If you plan, the teacher, if your plan is for 1 year, if your plan is for 1 year, plant rice. If your plan is for 10 years, plant a tree. But if your plan is for eternity, then teach students. You will be forever, you will remain in the hearts and mind of the students forever. Example, Abdul Kalam, he still remains with all of us. Now, the current concept of teaching, what happens in colleges these days? I'm talking about an ordinary teaching method. First and foremost, there will be you have to prepare a detailed lecture notes. Then the teachers transcribe them onto the boards for students to copy or through PowerPoint. Sometimes ask question here and there. Occasionally, you get answers from few of the more fearless students. Give test over teaching. So this is the current concept of teaching in many places. So the staff and the student have no connectivity. So my dear friends, this is the knowledge what is there for all of us to acquire. This is the total quantity of knowledge. We as teacher have limited knowledge. We have studied it and we could take it only limited knowledge. And these are the students who are with the minimum capacity to grasp. Now the problem is, if you take the whole knowledge and dump it on the student's head, it's going to be really difficult. This is going to be really difficult. So if you take the whole knowledge and throw it onto a student, it will overflow. The knowledge will not retain. And this is what is happening in most of the theory sections and the classes. So what needs to be done? Our teaching methodology has to be changed. It has to be a funnel shape. If you put a funnel, the correct amount will go and it will not overspill also. So in the same way, the job of a teacher is to take the whole knowledge, simplify it, and give it in a constricted or a narrow funnel-shaped manner to the students. So in that way, students will retain this and you will be one of the favorite teachers of your students. But many teachers feel they're not interested in teaching. First and foremost, in any professional college, no one is trained to teach. If you are from medical background, you have studied your course, you have become a doctor, but you are not trained to teach students. If you are in engineering college, you did your engineering, BTech, MTech, but you have no experience in teaching. You are not trained to teach students. So that is how the problem happens. We are trained, we are professional in our work, but we don't know how to teach. Or if we have the knowledge, but how to impart them. There lies the flaw. So first and foremost, many of the teachers feel they're not interested in teaching. And they feel performance is directly proportional to salary. If salary is good, I will put more effort. Salary is not great, I will not put effort. I am teaching, but no one appreciates. So why should I teach? I was never taught. So why should I teach? Professional college, who teaches? What is the need to teach? Books are there, digital libraries are there, Google is there, go and search yourself. That is an attitude. I was harassed by my teachers. So why should I make it easy for the students to learn? So these are the few of the mindset which some teachers do have. And that is why they're not successful in their teaching career. My dear friends, there are many things in life that will catch your eye. Only a few will catch your heart. Pursue those. And that is called passion. You need to be passionate. You should have a great passion for being a teacher if you want to sustain in this field. Interest matters. Love the profession you are in or be in the profession which you love. You need to be 100% connected with your profession. Then only you can do wonders. So what is the current status? So any student, boy or girl who enters a medical school, engineering college, any profession you take it, at the beginning of their student career, they are very active and they are highly motivated students. But once they go through the second year, third year, and final year, then they pass out, the product what comes out is washed leather or mouth-eaten appearance. No sufficient knowledge, no confidence. This is the trend what has become. We have become like a factory model of mass education. So our goal has become just to make them pass. If they're 50% and above, passing mark is there, they are successful in life. Even the students are also running to get the passing mark. I'm talking on a general aspect. So we have not learned how to communicate, how to deal with the feelings, and how to stop being failure oriented. These aspects are very, very important to transform from a teacher to guru. You have to be connected with the students. If the connection is not there, nothing is going to happen. A tree is known by its fruits. So same way, a student who goes out, if you want, or if we want our college or our universities to have a big brand name, the branding matters. So we should have results. Students should have good attendance. They should be coming to the classes on a regular basis. There should be some transformation in them. A maturity should come in them. And whatever skills they are learning, it should be employability should be there in them. Employability skills has to be there. Campus culture has to be cultivated. And value-based and sensitive human beings who can respond to human needs to build up a better world. So these are all the criteria which should be imparted to the students. But what is happening is just a mass factory. So please remember, a tree is known by the fruits what it gives. So as a teacher, the students whom you're teaching, how they are performing later in life, that is directly reflecting us. So how to increase the productivity in a department or an organization, wherever you're working from? First and foremost, the ability to learn is the most significant activity of man. We all can learn. That is the greatest gift God has given to us. So if you are a team leader or if you are head of your department, create an interest and belief in all the students as well as in your colleagues. Interest and belief has to be created. You cannot change a person without changing his beliefs. You have to change his belief system that yes, he is here to mark a change in someone's life and he should enjoy the process. Then only the transformation will happen. My dear friends, there are no dull teachers. There are dull teachers. There are dull textbooks. There are dull films, but there are no dull subjects. No subject is dull. Whichever subject you see which you don't like it, someone may be a pioneer in that. Someone would be making a handsome living in that subject or in that field. So there are dull teachers, dull textbooks, dull films, but no dull subjects. So you need to create and impart a self-belief and interest in the students, then only things are going to change. Now, the qualities of great teacher. If you want to transform from a teacher to an ultimate guru, there are some qualities which we need to impart. So there are some around 30, 35 qualities which if we implement or if we incorporate into our life in our teaching schedule or teaching pattern, we can create an impact. So let us study and discuss one by one. First and foremost is mastery of the subject matters. Whichever topic you are going to teach them or guide them, coach them, you need to be a master of that. You cannot go with a half knowledge. You have to prepare as best as you can. So the subject matter must be mastered perfectly. If you do that, you can deliver your message effectively. And then keep with the new and updated trends, which is very important. So mastery of the subject is extremely important. You may be very good in your language, you have a wonderful confidence, but you don't have the subject in your head, you can't explain to them, it becomes a flop show. So knowledge of your subject with practical application is the key over here. Second is understanding the principles and methods of teaching. You have to develop your own curriculum. So if you're going to teach them, you should have a complete plan. You have to have your own curriculum, your lessons and teaching methods. How are you going to do it? And in this world, now with the advent of online teaching, so many tools have come. So don't be afraid to be creative. Please understand you are the boss of your own art and you should dress properly. This is extremely important. Whenever you're going to deliver a lecture, you have to dress properly. This gives a good impression. Make sure you walk into the class looking good. Try to dress little better or differently than the average person. This gives a lot of impact for the students. Understand the learner. The students who are going to be trained by you, you have to have a perfect understanding of their nature. The students come from different backgrounds, different economic classes, different level of intellectuals are there. Emotional maturities are different. So show genuine concern and sincere love for students. As we all know, a child's behavior is dictated by their parents' approach towards them. If the parents are overprotective in their early part of their life, the student becomes shy, submissive, anxious. If the parents are overindulgent, the student is aggressive, demanding. Display of tantrums will be there. Under-affectionate kids will turn up into generally well-behaved adults, but may be unable to cooperate. They become shy and may cry very easily. And if the parents are rejecting or authoritarian, students are aggressive, overactive. So these are the kind of students what you are going to address to. You cannot have one formula for everyone. So that is how coach comes. You have to understand each and every student based on their merit. You have to devise a technique so that they understand the subject very well. You can't just come and deliver one general lecture for everyone and say my job is done. Love the subject. Next point, love the subject you are teaching and be excited and enthusiastic. If you are not interested in your subject, then who else will be? So when you're talking, your eyes should be wide eyes. A grin and barely suppressed enthusiasm does wonder for a student. Just your energy level will do wonders for a student. Suddenly the student starts loving the subject. Not because of the subject, because of the teacher who was teaching them. And general understanding of the branches and field knowledge is also important. Not only your subject, you should correlate it with the other subjects also. And you should try to make it as simple as possible. Be expressive in the class. So always there should be voice modulation. You have to vary the pitch, volume, quality, rate of your voice and your expressiveness in your own style. So you have to practice vocal animation also. You have to talk sometimes louder, sometimes slower, again pump up. So it will create a lot of excitement in the class. Physical gestures also matters. Your physical gestures, when you're standing, you have to move your hands and talk. You can't just stand in one place and just like a robot, you cannot do that. You have to be expressive. Physical gestures matters. You can sweep the hand in your air, gesturing and moving about the room can be constructive. You can just walk around. You have to be, next point, you have to be audible. My dear friends, if you're not audible, all your energy, talent, whatever you have done it, it's all waste. You have to be audible. So be sure you can be seen and heard by each and every student. Even the last bencher of the class should be able to hear you. So break away from the podium, desk and chalkboard. Just walk around. For that, you have to incorporate technology. What is that? You have to use slide changes. So you have to update yourself and go. So then only you can walk around. So once you're walking around, every student will feel my teacher is monitoring me. And that gives more seriousness towards the studies. Next is create humor. Very important it is. First of all, the subject will be a very serious subject. If you are teaching in a very serious manner, you are taking them into another level of depression. So create humor. You should never create humor on the students. They will take it personally. A non-hostile humor, funny stories, show some cartoons, and always remember students learn well when they're having fun. So create an activity, some games you are teaching for 15-20 minutes. So always the students' capacity to learn, concentrate is not more than 20 minutes. So 20 minutes of teaching and 1 or 2 minutes of humor you can incorporate, or small activity you can do it. So that gives a lot of impact. And best teachers laugh off their mistakes. They do mistakes intentionally and they try to create a humor. They create humor on themselves. 11th point, portray a particular character and make sure you debrief them. If you're going to explain something, you tell like a story type and try to debrief them. They will never forget for the rest of their life. These are all techniques how from a normal teacher, you can become an ultimate guru. Use technology. Times are changing. We need to change. We need to adapt. We have to change with time. Otherwise, we will be perished. So this will bring a 3-dimensional object or something you have to incorporate. Now, so many technologies have come where you can incorporate all live photographs here and there, right? So you have to use that. The basic things is projectors and your slide changers. It needs to be there. Audio, videos, animations, everything needs to be incorporated in your lectures. One method of gaining the students' concentration is creating a suspense in the class. So you should use you should have to make it suspense. The use of suspense makes material more interesting. So in the beginning of the class, you can tell like that. One anticipatory question I will ask you in the end. You can tell the question before the class only. And I will be asking this question towards the end of the class. So the whole concentration will be there for knowing the answer. The students will be fully active. So try developing an anticipatory question which you will answer by the end of the class. Either you will answer or the student will answer by listening to you. So like, what is heavy about heavy water? So the concentration goes, what is heavy about heavy water? Or why do we give releasing incision? So these are just few basic questions which you're going to take, but this creates a lot of impact. Have patience. Have patience. They were willing to wait until a distraction calmed students down or abandoned a lesson entirely if it was clear material needed to be revisited. When you enter class, give some time for students to settle. It's very important. When you're in the classroom, don't just go and start your class. You go there and just settle down for some time. You stand there like calm, let students settle down by themselves. And then you start the class. Always be on time. This is very important. You are the role model. If a teacher is not on the time, how can you expect students to be on time? If your class have got 100 students and you come late 1 minute, so 1 minute of 100 students, you're wasting 100 minutes of productivity work. Avoid talking too much during the class sessions. Don't be too much opinionated. Always have a sixth sense. This is very important. When you realize that a student is having a difficulty in understanding the matter or subject, take an extra time to discuss. Take the time to discuss outside the class hours and without the textbooks, try to explain in a simple manner, which is very important. Next one is don't tolerate students bad mouthing. So students will have a habit of telling about some staff or the other staff. We should always remember that all the teachers are doing their best and they are human too. If a student can talk bad about some staff to us, they can do the same, talk about bad about us also to the other people. Encourage students to learn concepts. This is the next factor. And not just let them be good memorizers. You should learn the concepts of the matter, which is very important. Willingness to help student and not stop teaching when the bell rings. So in our college setup, we always have timetables. So when 1 hour class gets over, the next staff will come. So that is the moment where you have to come into play. If it is required, speak to the next staff take additional 5 minutes and try to finish the topic, and then you can leave the classroom. Or abrupt stopping at one single point, it will not serve the purpose. Be passionate for other things too. It's not only studies, the subject. You can be interacting with the students on various of subjects, like their TV episodes, sports, cricket matches, everything. Always start a class with a philosophy. Many classroom management plans begin with your philosophy, will give a lot of impact to the students. Some good positive news, some motivational stories will work wonder over here. While giving notes, be specific and as detailed as possible. Write down the points so that students can be able to take notes as required. Classroom management, this is very essential. So here we have a situation where we will be addressing 40 students, 60 students, or a strength of 100 students. Controlling each one of them is going to be a challenging task. So classroom management skills needs to be mastered. And there will be some people who are doing unwanted behavior, showing up late, rude attitude, or incomplete assignments will be there. So there are likely chances that as a teacher, you may get irritated from some students. So it's not just about punishing students who behave poorly. That is not our agenda. You should never have an agenda of just punishing those students. We should practice on preventive measures so that the student will not repeat the same mistake again. So things has to be planned in a perfect manner. So what can be done? So first and foremost, define your classroom rules. Set the example for students and let them know they can trust you to keep your word. So your rules should be crystal clear to them. If a student is late to the class, will he be allowed or not allowed? And if your rules, you have made it, make sure you stick to that because they trust you. And then make your expectations also very clear. Tell your entire class what you expect of them and what you want them to become. So once they know what to do, how to do, then they will behave in a proper manner. And communicate the consequences. Very important. Communicate the consequences. Explain them if anyone breaks the rule, what all things they have to undergo or what will be the punishment. And no matter what, there should be no deviation from the rules what you have told in the class. So this will give a sense of trust among the students and there will be no partiality also. So techniques for better classroom control. How will you control better? So focus attention on entire class. This is very important. You cannot just stick to first or two rows and then just keep talking to them and just ignore the rest of the class. This eventually happens when we are in our beginning stage. So always have eye-to-eye contact. The best method will be you have eye-to-eye contact with one or two students who are in the second row, and then you shift from left side to right side and then go keep your eyes on the back side. So from one section of the students to another section of the students, you keep changing your focus. So this will, every student will be connected with you. And sometimes if the class is noisy, if a staff becomes silent, it is very effective. Automatically things cool down. Direct your instructions so that students know what is going to happen. And always move around the room so students have to pay attention more readily. So we have slide changes now. So keep revolving and keep talking, explaining. So everyone will be able to hear you properly and equal concentration will be there for every student. So go the extra mile. Do more than the average teacher. If a student fails to do the work on time, call them afterwards and tell them what went wrong and how to improve that, rather than just scolding them. Put an effort in class to go through the entire assignment with them. If a student looks depressed or unwell, it is best to call them out in person and pay attention after class. Just ask them if they are all right. This little matters will make a lot of difference. The student will worship the teachers if they are little bit genuinely interested in their well-being. Don't fall into the trap of having to cover everything. So many times we would have planned it. I'm going to finish this much portion in my limited time of 1 hour class. So we will be just rushing towards the end and we'll be trying to finish everything in that last 10 minutes, 15 minutes, which is practical no use for the students. And as a staff also, we know that it has not worked. So always, if you have a class of 1 hour, try to make a schedule for 45 minutes. So 10 or 15 minutes, you have a buffer. So that is very good. And you can ease out and explain them without having tension to complete the portions. And if you are having a bad day, don't let it show on to the students. After all, you are a superhero figure to them. You are a superhero. Make your involvement seem very effortless. It should be when you're talking, when you're teaching, when you're explaining them, it should be effortless. Do not smile too much. That distracts the class also. Here and there, okay, but not too much of smiling is recommended. And when you evaluate them, so you should assess the student, have they met the objectives you set? Based on that, you evaluate the students. And whenever any exams needs to be conducted, at least 1 to 2 weeks prior, announce the portions. What happens is, generally what happens is, suppose tomorrow is the exam, 1 day before, whatever portions covered, that is included in the exams. The student may not learn that. When we were student, that is also not possible. So how can we expect from the next generation of students? So it's always better, your programming should be correct. 1 to 2 weeks ahead in time, your lesson plan should be told and portion should be given to the students. So they will have enough time to prepare for the class. The written work and paper correction, very important. So whenever an exams are conducted, you correct the papers and call the students and discuss the paper with them, their answer sheets. What went wrong, how it went wrong, and how they can correct it. Maybe some diagrams here and there. So this will have a lot of impact on the students. So they will try their best not to repeat the same mistake next time. The problems of every student are, they retain only 5% what they hear and 10% what they read. They retain 20% what they hear and read, 30% what is shown to them, 50% what they discuss they retain, and 75% what they do, and 90% what they teach among themselves. So that is what you should make a habit of students giving more of seminars. And the seminars should be interactive ones where the student will participate rather than just reading some slides. He will actively get involved and he will try to explain the concepts to his batchmates. So by teaching others, the students will learn more. Okay. So now there are some 5 or 6 different types of teachers. So we are one among them. So let us see who falls in which category. Okay. So the first type is called courses type of teachers. These teachers, they believe in carrot and stick policy. That means if you do mistake, you will be punished. Punish and they will start behaving well. This is the concept of the students. This is the type of teachers who are impatient listeners. This kind of teachers assume responsibility very quickly and they are volunteer to take tasks and uses fear to get their work done. So they will scare the student, you have to do this work, then only things will happen for you. So this kind of teachers are called courses type. Next type of teachers are authoritarian teachers. They show the stick and gives carrot more often. They know the effect of fear, but uses it very rarely. They use logic and arguments to influence others. They get ideas from others, modify them, and later claims that these ideas are theirs. They believe in socializing power. Listens to others only to get points which will support their plans. So this is authoritarian type of teachers. The next type of teachers are pace setters. They set very high standard for themselves and expect the same thing from the students. And they write off people who cannot attain their standards and ignore them in the class. They're not interested. They do not mind working as a co-worker in the team that he leads. They seldom delegate and they are always toward the neck of the subordinates. They will be always behind the neck of the subordinates, pace setters. And they doubt other people's capabilities. So this kind of teachers are called pace setter teachers. The next category are the coaches. They firmly believe that everyone can develop. They reward genuine good efforts. If anyone is working very hard, they reward handsomely. They help subordinates and plan their career, supports them even after their failures. So this is a very important characteristics of them. They delegate responsibility and authorities, and they observe subordinates and help them if any shortcomings are there. The next category of teachers are affiliators. They feel that reward and punishments are not at all of any use. They are not motivators. It will not help them. So these people feel lonely, and when left alone, they are very lonely, and they go to office to sit and chat. They say yes to almost everyone because they can't say no. Harmony in relation is more important than task completion. And these people do not take responsibility as such. The next category of students are democrats. The next category of teachers. They believe in recognition of genuine good work. They give rewards very often. These are the kind of teachers who take responsibilities. They take the help of specialists, other departments, interdepartment. They will take help and they will try to make sure the student is benefited. They consider the group has a source. So they believe in the teamwork. The group has a source and the resource for everyone. They get ideas and suggestions from others and utilizes in a very constructive manner. So these are 4 or 5 types of different teachers. So we should figure it out where we fit in and then try to incorporate this idea so that we can be a better teacher. Now, steps in preparing a lecture. Now, lectures are the most dreaded and the most hateful scenario from student point of view. So the lecture has to be really well crafted. So there are 3 steps in making a lecture. First is planning the lecture. Second is presenting the lecture, that is micro teaching, what all headings you will tell, how much time you will talk for each subject. And the third one is the actual action, that is delivering the lecture. So let us discuss them one by one. The first one, planning a lecture. So here, highlighting significant points, more often covering the portion. So you have to cover the most important things. And here you will use what all teaching aids you need. You will plan it out and always never use anything in a live class for the very first time. You should always practice this beforehand and then try to use the new teaching aids. So you should practice it. Anticipate probable questions. Time may be given for them and ask questions, pose problems at intervals and use mic if required, and distracting noise should be shut out. So that is while planning a lecture. And now when you are presenting the lecture. So starting a lecture is the most difficult point for many people. So your starting should be most impactful and powerful. The student should be aroused by an interest or a joke or small time discussion with students. So this is how we should structure our presentations. First of all, give an introduction of the chapter, maybe for 1 minute. Then summarize and give an outline what will be covered in this chapter for 5 minutes. So you give introduction for 1 minute and summarize the whole chapter in 5 minutes. And then the actual teaching happened for not more than 25 minutes because the concentration goes down after 25 minutes. Then you can give a break. You can crack some jokes. You can put some activities over there. And then finishing the lecture is also very important because students will retain the last part more correctly. And then summarize the whole chapter again in 3 to 5 minutes. What you have taught them, that much portion, you can again summarize it. And probably 1 or 2 minutes for asking questions. The students have any doubts, or you can put a question from your presentation and let student answer them. So this is the basic structure of presenting a lecture. So now while delivering the lecture, you should greet the students with smile. This we have already discussed. Voice modulation, repetition and pauses may be required. You have to repeat the same sentences again and again so that it sinks into the student's mind. Do not orate, do not read like a news channel. So always don't be too sensitive. Survey the whole class. Don't play favorites, just asking questions from 2 or 3 students only every time. You should give equal opportunity for everyone to answer. Don't be rooted to one place. You're just standing at one place, one window, or below the fan you're standing. So those things should not be done. And exhibit a sense of humor. Next is how to set a question paper. So there are 2 steps here. Step number 1, make a list of all probable questions chapter wise. So you will make this first chapter number 1, this 4 or 5 questions, chapter number 2, 4 or 5 questions. So you had the question bank. Step number 2, when you're devising this question bank, so you can, or you're making the question paper, you can categorize into 4 categories. A, very easy questions. B, easy questions. C, tough questions. And the 4th one, very tough questions. So in this way, if you give to your students, it will work wonders for them. So my dear friends, the mistake of a doctor is buried in a grave. The mistake of an engineer lies cremated in bricks. The mistake of a lawyer lies in files. But the mistake of a teacher is reflected on the nation. So we as a teachers have to be very careful and very serious about our profession, because whatever we say, students are following us. And it is the next generation who will be taking us as role models and implementing it. So you are the next best teacher in making. So I hope this presentation was useful for everyone. If you can incorporate few ideas, so it will really help us to be a better teacher. So I once again thank the organizing committee and all of you for your patient hearing. Thank you so much.